Welcome back to The Explainer. Today we're diving into the most complex and fascinating machine on the planet, your own body. But we're not going to look at it as just one single thing. Instead, we're going to see it for what it truly is, a massive, sprawling, self-governing city made up of trillions of tiny citizens.
That's right. Your body is basically a metropolis with a population of nearly 100 trillion cells. It's almost impossible to wrap your head around that number. So to understand how it all works, we're going to take a tour of this incredible city, visiting its key departments, from the central government to the power grid, and see how they all cooperate 24/7 just to keep the whole place thriving.
So, here's our tour itinerary. We're going to kick things off with the city's command center. Then we'll check out its power and delivery systems. After that, we'll see how it gets its fuel and how it deals with waste, before putting it all together to see how this incredible system works in perfect harmony.
Okay, first stop, the city's government and its communication network. We're talking about the ridiculously complex nervous system. This is the department that issues all the commands, gathers intel, and makes sure every single part of the city is on the same page. And it is fast. I mean, some of these signals travel at over 250 miles per hour.
The whole system is organized, really brilliantly actually, into two main branches. First, you've got the central nervous system, the CNS. Think of this as City Hall. It's the brain and the spinal cord where all the big decisions get made. And then you have the peripheral nervous system, or PNS. This is the sprawling citywide network of nerves that reaches into every neighborhood, carrying messages to and from City Hall.
Now, the basic unit of this entire communications grid is the neuron. You can picture it as a kind of biological wire, constantly firing off these super high-speed electrical and chemical signals. It's basically the city's internet, its telephone lines, and its postal service, all rolled into one tiny, powerful package.
And if we look inside City Hall, the brain itself, it's made up of all these specialized departments. The cerebrum, that's like the executive suite, you know? It handles all the complex stuff, thoughts, memories, emotions. The diencephalon, that's the central post office and switchboard, routing every piece of incoming and outgoing information. The brainstem is the automatic life support system. It keeps your heart beating and your lungs breathing without you ever having to think about it. And the cerebellum, it's kind of like the Department of Public Works, coordinating your balance and movement with incredible precision.
Okay, so you have this amazing command center, but it's pretty useless if you can't power the city, right? So next, let's look at the utilities. In our bodies, this is handled by two systems that are deeply connected. The respiratory system, which is our power plant, and the circulatory system, our delivery network.
The respiratory system is the city's power plant, and it's all about getting one thing: oxygen. The process starts in the nose, which acts as an intake valve and a purification filter. From there, air travels down the trachea, the windpipe, which then splits into bronchi that lead deep down inside the lungs. And that's where millions of tiny air sacs, called alveoli, do the real work, pulling that vital oxygen out of the air and sending it straight to the delivery network.
And here's that delivery network, a massive, double-loop superhighway, all powered by the constant, tireless pump of the heart. The first loop, the pulmonary circuit, is just a quick trip over to the lungs to pick up a fresh batch of oxygen. The second loop, the systemic circuit, that's the long-haul journey. The heart powerfully pumps that oxygen-rich blood through 60,000 miles of vessels to reach every single one of those trillion cellular citizens. It's just incredible.
Now, this city road network has three main types of roads. You've got arteries, which are the major highways. They're built with thick, muscular walls to handle the high-pressure flow of blood shooting away from the heart. Veins are the return routes, bringing that blood back at a much lower pressure. And then you have the capillaries. These are the tiny, local side streets, so narrow that blood cells have to line up single file to get through. And this is where all the action happens, the delivery of oxygen and nutrients right to each cell's front door. All right, a city can't just run on power alone. It needs fuel, it needs raw materials, and that brings us to the body's port authority, its processing plants, and its distribution centers, all wrapped up in the gastrointestinal system.
The GI tract is really a masterpiece of industrial engineering. It's basically a 30-foot-long disassembly line. It all starts in the mouth, then the food moves down the esophagus and into the stomach, which is this powerful chemical vat that uses acid and enzymes to break things down. From there, it moves into the huge small intestine, where most of the nutrients are finally absorbed, and then it's onto the large intestine for one last job: water reclamation.
But you know, that main conveyor belt can't do all the work by itself. It gets a ton of help from these specialized factories. The liver, well, that's the master chemical processing plant.
The pancreas produces this cocktail of really powerful digestive enzymes. And the gallbladder? It acts as a storage tank for bile, which is absolutely crucial for breaking down fats.
So, with all this industrial activity going on, power generation, deliveries, fuel processing, our city ends up producing a lot of waste. And that means you need a super efficient sanitation and water treatment department. Enter the renal system.
The sheer scale of this filtration system it's mind-boggling. We are not talking about one big filter here. Each one of your kidneys contains somewhere between 1 and 2 million microscopic purification units called nephrons. All told, your kidneys filter your entire blood supply, about 5 liters of it, around 40 times every single day. It's just a massive, non-stop purification operation.
And this department does way more than just take out the trash. The kidneys are like the city's water commissioners, carefully managing hydration. They're also mineral regulators, balancing critical electrolytes like sodium and potassium. They even act as a hormone production facility, influencing everything from your blood pressure to the creation of new red blood cells. They do it all.
So, we've toured the individual departments, right? We've seen the government, the power plants, the fuel depots, and the sanitation crews. But the real magic of the city isn't in any one of those departments. No, the real magic is how they are all seamlessly and perfectly integrated.
No system here is an island. They all depend on each other. I mean, think about it. The nervous system tells the digestive system what to do, but that same nervous system needs the fuel from the digestive system just to be able to think. The circulatory system delivers oxygen from the respiratory system, but the heart and lungs need that very same oxygen to keep working. The renal system cleans the blood for everybody else, but it relies on the circulatory system to bring it that blood in the first place. It is a constant, beautiful, and perfectly balanced dance of interdependence.
And you know, here's maybe the most incredible part of all. This ridiculously complex, interconnected city of trillions runs 24/7 on perfect autopilot. You never have to consciously manage a single thing. It just works. Which leads me to our final thought for today. When you really stop and consider this intricate, self-governing metropolis that lives inside you, what part of its silent, perfect operation do you find the most amazing?